end of the year and pass them out to staff, and usually 30, I think I passed out a 35-year one once, but often there will be, I'll pass out 40 or 50 pins. We do them in increments of 5 years. And we always, no, we don't always, well, sometimes we make mistakes or don't remember quite what we did, or, so I always tell people, you know, if we think we missed you, let us know. So we weren't sure if we got Loretta last year when we should have, so this is a 30-year pin for service to the district, which we give to board members as well as staff. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
If I go home and find out where that one, I'll bring it back.
Oh.
You've all heard of professors giving their last lecture when they're retiring or dying. And my son asked, and I'm sort of famous for giving lectures. I remember one of my sons when he was about 18 years old saying, "Is this a Sunday lecture, Mom?" Anyway, I give a lot of lectures. I have a lot of things to say. So Pete had asked that I put together the last lecture with some of my favorite topics, if not his favorite topics. So that's what I've done, and I appreciate your indulgence to being an audience. He said he would record it, and I don't know what he intends to do with the recording. But my last, I put together some notes. Oh, and I must add the caveat, there's no guarantee that this is my last lecture. Maybe more, as the Spirit moved me. Well, thank you for taking your time. I started with, I guess, the beginning of life. I just put down favorite topics here, not necessarily related to education, but most of them somehow related to education. So the first topic I wrote was to new parents. And my lecture then goes something like, time with your child is very short. It's very hard to grasp how short the time is unless you look back. Even at a year or 2 years, when you look back, it's like, oh, he was a baby just yesterday. I say he because all men were he. So take time to look back and think about how short the time forward is, because your time with your child, especially the time that you have to really influence a child, is very short compared to your lifetime. The second item on to new parents is pay attention. Most trouble with kids, sibling rivalries and that kind of thing, can be headed off if it's caught in time. You can hear voices begin to rise. You can hear maybe the wheels scraping on the cement. If you're paying attention, you can usually head off difficulty between kids. The fourth one is, and one of our earlier items kind of put a hole in this, but it's still my conviction that it's better to believe a lie from your child than to question a truth from your child. In other words, build trust by trusting the child. And the last one is enjoy your child. Nothing is more helpful and satisfying to a person, even for us as adults. If somebody enjoys our presence, enjoys our company, that is tremendously gratifying and affirming. So take time to enjoy your child, probably the best thing that you can do for them. Then I have a little item, my next section is to kids. Some of my lectures to them as they were growing up. One of them was, nothing you learn is wasted. Sometimes kids grumble and fuss about the things that happen in school. But my word to them is, nothing you learn is wasted. Try many different things. If different activities are offered in school, this one was a hard one. I never got many kids to believe this when they were kids. Maybe they believe it now, but try many different things. Try different activities. Something you don't think you're going to be very good at, as well as something you do think you're very good at. You never know what you're going to learn and how that will help you. Then this is mainly to high school kids. Take care of your body. It has to last a long time. And one of the kind of obvious things, but many kids don't believe it, is that your body was given a skin. The skin is to protect it from outside influences, from infections. It's to keep it together. The skin keeps your body together. and you shouldn't punch holes in it for frivolous reasons. No holes in the skin. It lets in germs, and there's no point in it. If there's some good reason, if, you know, surgery, appendicitis, whatever, if there is a good reason for punching a hole in your skin, okay, but not for frivolous reasons. Along with that one, and this goes more for adults, is, again, taking care of your body. No triathlons. It's too hard on the body. Some of the athletic endeavors are mainly for vanity's sake, mainly to prove that you're better than somebody else or that you can do it, but some of those things are damaging to the body. Just do not do it. And again, to high school kids, one of my lectures to them is, don't make any irreversible decisions at this age. Sometimes if I'm talking to high school kids, I would ask them to look back. Again, looking back is a way. I say, look at yourself. Maybe you're a high school senior now. Look at yourself as a freshman. When you were a freshman, you thought you were pretty smart. You thought you were pretty formed. You thought you knew what you wanted and what you were made of. Do you still think the same things now? 3 years later, your ideas have changed a lot. You probably look at some of the things you wore then, some of the things you said then, and are embarrassed about it because you've grown and you've changed. Well, looking forward, you will change that much and more in the next few years. In the next 5 to 10 years, you will change a lot. So don't make decisions now that you can't go back on. You know, the choice of a job, the choice of a school, the choice of friends, all those things can be changed. The choice of a mate, if you marry, that's much harder to change. It's possible, but that's hard. And if you have a baby, no way. That can't be changed. You have a baby for the rest of your life, and that relationship will stay there. Just do not do that until you're more fully formed. Okay, that's most of my life skill stuff. On to education. The first item here is funding. And my radical stance, I suppose, is we have to look at legalizing drugs. Let's start with marijuana, but talk about other drugs too. I happen to think that there are better reasons than revenue for changing our stance on drugs. One of the big reasons is our present laws, I think, serve as a money funnel into criminal hands. Our laws about drugs are a money funnel into criminal hands. We had the Prohibition experiment back in the 1920s, you know, almost 100 years ago. The situation was so analogous to what we have now with illegal drugs, and we don't seem to even look at that experiment, much less learn from it. So there's that experiment. We can pretty well, I think, agree that the Mexican troubles with their nearly civil war is being funded by the American public, pouring money into criminal hands that are mainly causing huge unrest in Mexico. I think schools, because of their need for revenue, as I say, I think there are better reasons than the need for revenue for changing our drug laws. But the need for revenue can be used by schools to provide cover for politicians. That's maybe not a very good way to put it, but schools still, and school people, school board members, school employees, still are at some risk in our society if they come out in favor of legalization of drugs. I usually push this stance on the senior groups. I tell them, we seniors have less to lose by coming out for legalization of drugs. Nobody's going to give us a job. Nobody's going to marry us. Nobody's, you know, going to invite us to a party because of our stance here. So I try to tell seniors, get on the wagon and push. Okay. That's enough of that. Then one of my lectures has to do with the No Child Left Behind Act, the Nickelby. One of my thoughts is, and that maybe it's too late for this, but couldn't OSBA, Oregon School Boards Association, and the National School Boards Association orchestrate a mass failure? Couldn't we do that? We know that everybody's going to fail eventually. If we all fail together, wouldn't that be easier, more palatable? Wouldn't that make a statement? Maybe that would teach somebody of the unfeasibility, the unreality of that law. Well, mass failure, we could orchestrate that, I think. I'm not sure exactly how, maybe by a few kids who didn't take the test. I think it could be done. I think it's great for OSBA and the NSBA.
Thank you for that gift.
Okay, on to early childhood education. You know, when Phoenix Talent instituted kindergartens, this was like 1983, the legislature had mandated that we begin kindergartens by then, so Phoenix Talent instituted them a year or two ahead of time. And my question then was, we've been starting kids in school at 6 years of age for a long, long time. I don't know why 6 years of age was chosen, and I don't know why 5 years of age is better. I would like somebody, some kind of research, some kind of reason to say why 5 is better than 6. Now we're talking about 4. If 5 is better than 6, maybe 4 is better than 5, but how about 3 and 2 and 1 and maybe 3 months? I mean, shouldn't there be some better reason than it's earlier and we can start them earlier and we can cram more into them? And well, that's my question. I would like to know some reasons. I would like to have people ask, where's the research? What is the reason?